welcome back into another edition of the Coach Ernie Willingham Show here in Collinsville, Alabama. And we want to thank Arnold Heating and Cooling for their sponsorship of this show and many other things that they've done with Average Joe Sports Talk. So if you're in any kind of need of heating and cooling with your house, you need to see Mr. T-Fur, Mr. Arnold, to take care of all your heating and cooling needs. And his information will be on the start of this video. And if you cannot get contact with him, contact Bo from Average Joe's or anybody at Average Joe's, and we'll get you connected with those guys immediately because they do a really good job up here in DeKalb County and the surrounding counties. Coach, last week you went into a game with Whitesboro Christian that previous year you had a phenomenal game with them, one for the ages that you guys got out of there with a big victory. This year wasn't so much the same scenario as it was last year. You guys took control of the game early and kind of coasted right throughout. Got your guys out of the game. It was 55-0, and then they scored a couple touchdowns late. But take us back to last Friday night and how that all transpired.
Well, Quintarius Rogers had another big game.
Sounds like a broken record.
Well, a couple of games where he didn't get to run. He got to run in the second quarter a little bit. He scored on a punt return and a rushing touchdown in the second quarter. But he scored 4 touchdowns again. He had two punt returns for touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns, and we didn't throw it much. I think Mason was 3 out of 3 or 4 out of 4 for about 100 yards. And
efficient.
A couple of touchdowns. Yeah, he hadn't thrown an incomplete pass since 5. He didn't throw too many incomplete. He didn't throw it much against 5, but we're just not throwing it much. When we get ahead, we try not to throw. We try to run the clock. So
yeah,
that's what we did. And then the second half, we played. We scored 1. It was 47-0, 48-0 at halftime. And we scored with our change-out guys first, not a few starters and a few change-outs, and some younger guys that don't get to play a lot. And then our junior high played after that.
So we talked about this earlier this year, how important it is for those younger guys to get those reps. Again, it's got to be important. I mean,
I like our younger guys.
Yeah.
You know, they've obviously got a long way to go, or they'll be starting on the varsity. But you know, some of those are 7th grader. Right? John Paul Barrientos, you know, he's going to be a really good player. He's fast. He's just in 7th grade, and he's the only real 7th grader that plays much. Most of those others are 8th graders and a couple of 9th graders mixed in there to them. But the 8th grade class is a pretty good class too.
Coach, you guys have a lot of good youth here. You and I talked a little bit off the camera earlier that you guys are about to be doing some renovations here, possibly at the stadium as well.
I hope to. They came out and looked at the visitors' bleachers last week. Last week it was, and the way I understand it, they're going to start tearing the bleachers down as soon as football season's over and have new visitors' bleachers, and a couple more things are going. Some big things are going that I'm probably shouldn't even discuss yet.
Yeah, if they're already out here looking at it, that's pretty good.
I think the money's there. I think the money's there.
Yeah.
The problem is the way our bleachers, our visitor side is. There's a power line right behind them, and the power company. I think they came out and looked, and they're going to have to move the power line. And the new bleachers, the old bleachers are cement, the new bleachers will be metal, and the width of those are different. So they're going to have to back them up a little bit. And there was and so I think they're going to make them a little bit longer to give us the same seating, something. That they're doing that kind of stuff right now.
I know we talked about this in your 100-year video about how special this field was and how green. And you would know the year. There was a year that you guys had actually the best field in the state of Alabama, and that includes colleges or everything.
Yeah, Teddy and I were talking about that. I can't remember what year that was. 1968, maybe 66, 68 is one of those years. They got voted by the Birmingham News, voted our field as the #1 high school field in the state. The only field period in the state, according to that article. And I think it was 1968 was Auburn.
That's incredible.
It was better than any other college in the state, college or high school. The turf part.
And that. You can probably find that in the museum here in Collinsville.
It's there, and that's where we talked about it before. Teddy was telling you about it on that 100-year video, and you know they keep up with that stuff a little better than I do sometimes.
And I always talk about the backdrop here, but man, it's a special place to watch a game. And Steve Savarese said that best. There's nothing like it he had seen, and one of his final posts or quotes that he had before he left and handed over to Alvin Briggs about how special it was to come watch a football game here. So I know it's going to be very interesting to see how they do the new bleachers and things, because I mean, this is one of the, and I say it every week, but if you haven't seen this place, you got to come watch a football game here. It's phenomenal. But let's get back on the football track of things right here. You know, you got a big game coming up, and I heard you and Coach talking a minute ago. You guys have a fantastic, I call it a rivalry. You always play a good football game against one another. North Sand Mountain coming. That's going to be a very special football game. Talk about North Sand and what you expect out of those guys.
But North Sand Mountain's got a good football team. Yep. They're really physical. We had a good game with them up there last year. We scored with about 3. We were up a touchdown anyway, but we scored with about 3 minutes left before we put it away up there last year. And he does a good job. The quarterback is really good. The running back is really good.
Yeah.
You know, a couple good receivers. I think he's got a couple of linemen hurt. Is what he says. I don't know that.
He ain't playing
I don't know that I believe it. I don't know that I believe him or not. But he said he got a lineman hurt against Whitesburg last week. But it looked to me like that guy was in the whole game. I don't know. He must have got hurt on the way to the bus after the game or something. But well, you know, we're not going to fall for that till we see it. But,
that's some of that.
They've got a good team, and you know we expect to have a good game with them. And this is for third place in our region. 5 beat Pisgah this week, and that puts 5-1, Pisgah 2, and the winner of our game will be 3, and the other will be 4, and that makes a big difference for the playoff seeding.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know that other region down there, Locust Fork has beat the 2, 3, and 4 teams pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, they're way better. So whoever gets 4 will have to go to Locust Fork, and whoever gets 3 will have to go to Southeastern. And Southeastern's got a good football team too, but you know I think Locust Fork's got one of those. They're saying the best team they've ever had.
Yeah. They remind, and you'll remember this, they remind me a lot of that Cleveland team a few years ago. If you remember,
we played them. We didn't play them that year, but we played them, that Cleveland team, the year before that, and you know they had a good football team. We're in their region for a while.
Yeah,
they had some of the same players, but we weren't in their region that year.
That's kind of who they remind me of, just from a perspective of how many points they're scoring, and like you said, a lot of people over there are saying it may be their greatest team ever, but with what you guys have already played this year, I don't think you'd be shocked if you had to play them or Southeastern.
They're a little different. I think they're more like Pisgah than they are Fife.
They are.
You know, their quarterback is supposed to be really good, but you know, we can't worry about that right now. The Locust Fork, Southeastern, whichever one, we're going to travel. But there can't be anything on our mind except North Sand Mountain, and that running back is good. I watched him play Pisgah a couple of weeks ago, and that running back had over 100 yards against Pisgah. You know,
that's good.
So, yeah, he's a good player. He's a really good player, so we got to tackle him.
Anytime you play North Sand, you know for a fact you're going to get a physical game. And I know you guys prepare for physicality at all times, but talk about, you know, North Sand traditionally and what kind of team they usually roll out there. They're always physical.
Coach Kirby has been there, and his father was there before that, Jim Kirby. And they've had a good physical football teams as long as I can remember. And they've got another one this year. They got some big old strong boys, and you know they're going to play. The score is not going to matter to them. They're going to play as hard as they can the whole game.
Yeah, they always do. Coach, what do you think your keys is to this game coming up against them? I know you've seen them on film. You probably know a lot more than your average fan does just seeing them on paper.
Well, we got to tackle that running back. It's the main thing, and the quarterback's pretty good too. We got to put a little heat on him. He's a big, tall kid, and he don't like to run around much. So you know we need to get back there and chase him around a little bit, make him throw on the run, and you know, and then on offense, we just got to take care of the ball. You know, we don't need to have any turnovers. So probably the one team that plays the cleanest game, the fewest turnovers, it'll be close enough that's going to make a difference.
And that one's going to be here, correct?
It's going to be here, yes. That makes a difference, too, because we've had really good crowds all year. This is our last home game, so it'll be senior night for our seniors and a little bit of a distraction, but it's not like homecoming or anything like that. But
I'm telling you, I've been here twice this year to watch y'all play live myself. And, hey, both times it's been packed to the gills. And it's one thing I like about Collinsville, man, and that it's always been like that ever since we started covering you guys. And it ain't just football a lot of times. I can go to the baseball games, and y'all got people sitting on the hill and all the way down the first base line. I mean, it's a special place here, man.
It is a good place. People like to come out and watch us play, and it's been like that since I was in school.
That's awesome.
We had people. I went to school here in the late 70s, and, you know, we had good crowds for football, basketball, baseball, all three of those. And some of them the same people. Some of the same people.
Yeah.
Jerry Traffinstead, for example.
Yes, sir.
You talked to him.
Yes, sir.
And, He said he's missed 3 games since 1966 or something like that. That's what he has, this big saying he says. So, and he's not the only one. There's lots of those people that's been here a lot.
Coach, I got to bring this up. Dude, my guy went with me to film that 100-year video. He brings this up every time Collinsville gets mentioned. The day that we did the 100-year video, and y'all told him that y'all was all going to be in 3-piece suits, and he showed up looking like Ric Flair, and y'all had on T-shirts and coaches' shirts.
I got blamed for that. That must be somebody else. I got blamed for that, but I don't think that was me.
That was hilarious, dude. I ain't gonna lie, man. Josh, every time we mention Collinsville, he brings that up and thinks that's hilarious. All right, Coach, anything else we need to tell everybody, or?
I can't think of anything. Just
y'all got tickets here, or does it still GoFan stuff?
We got GoFan, and they do paper tickets here also.
They do paper tickets.
Now, when you get to the playoffs, it might be a different thing.
I think
it may be only GoFan, but we do paper ticket option.
That's good. That's beautiful. A lot of people, especially older, grandparents and things, they like to. They still like doing it the old way, and I don't blame them because I'm old school as well. So.
Okay, we got easy parking too. I mean, if you get here early enough, there's some parking above the field house, and some of my mother, for example, some of the older people, they park up there close and bring their chair.
Yep.
And
that's beautiful.
And sit on the hill right there. And
I don't blame them one bit because that's a beautiful,
easy walk. It's just right down the hill, just a little bit right there.
It's a beautiful area to watch a football game, man, and especially on that hill right there because you can really see everything there. Well, Coach, we're going to shut this one down. I know you're a busy man, and you got a lot of work to do this week preparing for North Sand. And, God willing, we'll be back here each and every week as long as you guys play. If you go all the way and win the Blue Map, we'll be there each week. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.